So an Iman Gadzhi video came up on my YouTube feed the other day talking about how he made $100 million from YouTube. And no, I'm not talking about his main channel where he uploads, videos for noobs. I'm talking about the channel he specifically made to help people scale their info products to 7 and 8 figures a year. So as a YouTube content agency owner myself, working with a ton of different businesses, helping them, scale up on YouTube, I wanted to see what he had to say about what can help guys in the info space really succeed with YouTube in 2025. I think this was an older video, but obviously the strategies still apply to 2026. So I'm going to be breaking it down, watching through the video and see, what lessons we can take from this. So let's jump in.
So to execute this, part one is the foundation, and step one of that is the micro channel strategy. You see, 20,000 subscribers is a $400,000 a month business. And this is really the first step when implementing the system. When getting onto YouTube, most people try to copy the type of content that I'm creating on my main channel with a day in the life type of video or the best side hustle to make $500 a day. They try to make all this broad beginner content and then they try to sell a high ticket program to their audience on the back of it. And of course, it's simply never gonna work. What you need to understand is that on my main channel, I'm creating content to attract an audience that will buy a $1,000 info product or even a $37 a month subscription.
Okay, what he's saying here is so true, right? And this is kind of what I preach to my clients when, we approach the content strategy. So specifically, we work with business owners who are selling high ticket programs. We have guys who do 4K, 5K, I even have a guy who does 8K on his high ticket coaching program, right? And the main thing here that we try to emphasize is that you don't need to have a lot of views. So we're really focusing on creating niche authority content. So, a recent client, we put out a video, he has 500 subscribers, and from his third video, we closed 8K simply because that video was targeted to the exact people who we're trying to attract, right? So you really need to understand what types of content your audience actually wants to watch. The guys who are potentially buying an 8K coaching program, they don't want to see a day in the life potentially. They don't want to see these top of funnel videos. They want to see videos that are actually going to help them grow their business. So therefore, an audience of 3,000 subscribers, and those are all business owners. And if you're creating content that actually speaks to their problems, solve things that they're going on in their business, speaks to their pain points, you're actually going to make high ticket sales, right? So this is what we see across the board with our clients. And this is why for the most part, you need to have videos that are actually actionable, because if you're trying to close deals from YouTube, most of the time you want to target people who have high intent. Specifically, if we're doing on the SEO side, high search intent, because that means, if someone's searching how to do XYZ, how to start X business, how to do outreach for X business, whatever it is, right? Those people have high intent. They're trying to find a solution to their problem. So, these are the type of people you want to be creating videos for, not the guys who are going to watch Mr. Beast on the side or anything like that. We're not trying to entertain, right? So let's get back to it.
The way you speak to one type of person is not the way you speak to another type of person. So I know that this sounds crazy, and I know a lot of people forget this sometimes, but when you're selling to a qualified audience, when you're selling to a high ticket B2B audience, of course you have to speak to them in a very different way than you speak to a mass market audience. And on this channel, I only focus on attracting business owners who are already making more than $250K a year in their business. This is the channel that you're watching right now. And most people look at this channel and they think, oh, this channel isn't doing very well. He's only getting a few thousand views, while a lot of his main channel videos are getting millions of views. So I'm much better off modeling what he's doing on the main channel rather than the business channel. Well, guess what? This business channel, with just a few thousand views a video, makes me $500,000 in cash collected. You know why? Because when I speak to you on this channel, you're like, how does he know what I'm thinking? You're like, how is he so in touch? How is he so in tune with where I am in my business right now? Now, I know this might sound crazy, but you just create content that speaks to your ideal prospect or your ideal client. Nuts, I know, right?
So obviously you want to do this, but the question therefore becomes how do you actually find things that your ideal customer, your ideal client wants to actually watch? So it's good in all theory saying create these types of videos, but how do you actually actionable do it, right? So what you do, there's a few different ways. You can take questions that you get on your sales calls. So common objections that you keep seeing popping up, those can then be turned into YouTube videos that you can then create and then send them before the call so that you're pre-handling objections. That's one way. Then there's keyword research tools where you can find keywords and phrases that people are searching for that have high search volume, essentially meaning, people are actually searching for this, and then low competition, meaning that there's not that many people who actually have created videos around that topic, right? So that means there's a gap in the market for you to then go ahead and create that video. So this is how you would actually implement this strategy. Obviously, there's other ways. If you're getting on calls with your clients, once again, you can take the questions, whatever, FAQs you commonly get from people who actually end up buying from you. That means, oh wait, I can reverse engineer those insights into YouTube videos. And that's how you go about that.
I'm just trying to remind you, the views doesn't always equal sales, okay? So when you have the right content system, just a few thousand views can mean a lot of sales. And that is why I create a micro channel, which is hyper focused on a specific audience. Why? Because relevance beats reach. As I said, I have a 20,000 subscriber YouTube channel that makes me $500,000 a month. Not because it has millions of views, not because I post every single day. It's because you are the right person watching this, okay? The sort of content I make here only speaks to someone who is a business owner who is ready to spend money, not just random viewers who want to be entertained. You are the perfect example of this. You are watching this video instead of one of my vlogs or one of my main channel videos because you are looking for high-level strategies that can make you real money. That is the difference between people who make millions through their content and people who never manage to make their content system work. So let's consider this scenario. Imagine I tried to sell a $5,000 program and the target audience is an audience of broke college students who are too addicted to their PlayStation 5. The outcome? Would it work? Absolutely not. Most content creators are chasing views instead of buyers. Just remember something and let this be stained in your head. You are not a content creator. You are a business owner who uses content to fuel and drive their business. Understood? I feel so bad for these people who wonder why they fail to monetize their audience. And that is why I create micro channels that attract hyper qualified viewers, people who are already in the mindset to spend money and take action. That is truly how you print from YouTube. Now I want to make something very clear. That doesn't mean you can't.
So pretty much that's exact strategy that we implemented for one of our clients, Stedman. There's probably a full case study. If you click the thing up here, you can go check that out. But essentially what he's talking about is attracting buyers, right? And the way you do this is, as I said, creating videos that are high search intent, right? That means people are actively looking for that. So we created a video, he teaches people how to start a funding business. This guy Stedman, one of our clients. So we created a video, how to start a funding business in 2026. And that video has collected roughly about $30,000 for him in the last 45 days, right? So the point there is that you need to find the specific problems that people are looking for, people who would actually be interested in paying for a service, not the guys, as he says, the broke college students. And then you're creating videos for those guys. So yeah.
Then it was time to move forward into step 2. And that is the VSL flywheel. This is how one video sells for you 24/7, never complains, never is sick off work, never has an attitude, never nothing, okay? No constant funnels, no headache, no ads, no nothing, okay? This thing is the most bulletproof system to get customers and clients on demand. This is really where things get fun. The Flywheel VSL is a strategy I developed where one single video acts as your automated sales machine. It outperforms an entire sales team without you paying commissions. This thing works 24/7, without ads, without funnels, or manual follow-ups. This is the center point of this entire system. Once you have a base of videos on your micro YouTube channel, that is where you're gonna create your Flywheel VSL. Now it's very important, you can't create this from the get-go because you first need to find the right topic for it. And by the way, it's usually gonna take about 15 to 30 videos to get there. But once you have this set up correctly, it will outperform anything else you can do because we structure in a way that a single video will keep getting views and sales for months, if not even years to come.
So what he's talking about is obviously your YouTube VSL, right? And there's no point in denying it. He was the first one to really popularize this, but this has become a pretty popular strategy in the YouTube business space, right? And it's something we actively implement for our clients. And this kind of goes back to what I spoke about with our guy Stedman here. So for him, we identified the Flywheel VSL, right? We said we want to create a full training video, which is going to be our main piece of content, our bottom of funnel conversion content. And then the strategy that Iman's going to talk about is where you direct people to that video, right? So instead of pitching in every single video, trying to hard sell someone and coming off as the guy who's always pitching, right? Instead, what you do is you create that Flywheel VSL, that YouTube VSL, that full training, and you direct people to that video, right? And the way you do this is throughout the videos, the other videos, you can reference it, or, at the end of each of the other videos, you can say, hey, go check out this video where it breaks down my full process. And this is exactly what we implemented for Stedman, right? And as I said, that one video collected 30K, and a lot of his other videos, haven't collected nearly as much because that's the conversion piece of content. And the reason, this works so well is because how we do this regularly, and this is how Iman did it also, is you make it a longer video. Specifically, you make it like a full course type video. So the video that we created for Stedman was how to start a funding company, full course, right? And then this was like 1 hour long, and there were no other videos in his niche about this topic, right? There were a few ones, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but nothing comprehensive that, answered every question someone might have about doing this and went and spoke about every aspect. So what this video did, it positioned them as an authority, which in turn allowed them to decide to work with him, right? And by the time they got to that 45 1-hour mark, when we did the full pitch, they've already built so much trust with him and they understand that he is an expert because they've watched through that video. And then obviously that's what leads to someone booking in a call and deciding to work with you. So this strategy is extremely powerful. We actively implement it for all our clients. And yeah, Iman's exactly right here.
every new video you post will link back to the original Flywheel VSL. And with that, you're gonna be constantly driving traffic to this video. So not only will it always be getting new views from other videos, but the algorithm will pick up on that trend and recommend it to even more people every time you link back to it. This thing is a snowball, it becomes exponential. This way, the older the video gets, the more it sells. I mean, this system is like having digital real estate. Every new single video you publish is an asset that will keep paying dividends month after month. And they stack on top of each other. So the more videos you have pointing back to the Flywheel VSL, the better it works, the more views it gets, and the more it sells. Now, I do want to say there's a whole CTR and retention play and a whole system behind this that causes the algorithm to actually push your video. That's gonna be way too long to explain in this video, but for now, all you need to know is that this is exactly how I went from getting less than 20,000 subscribers a year to getting 1 million plus the same year, and then 2.5 million subscribers the year after.
Okay, so part of what he's talking about here is number one, obviously average view duration, right? When you make this a full course style video, a longer video, there's going to be average viewer duration, which is higher than any of your other videos. So I think on, the video I mentioned for our clients, we're getting an average of 15 minutes viewer retention, which is obviously a lot higher than most videos, right? And then the other thing here is something called session duration. And this is probably what YouTube looks at the most right now. And session duration is essentially the longer someone spends on your channel in one sitting without closing their tabs. So what this does, right, as Iman's saying, you want to have the other videos linking back to the YouTube VSL. So what we do is, as I said, at the end of these videos, through an end screen, we're pitching them to go watch this video. So what happens is someone watches one of these other videos, they then click the end screen, they go watch the YouTube VSL, and now they've watched 2 videos. And now they've stayed on your channel consuming content for, let's say it's an hour and 20 minutes. And that is a high session duration, on standards with YouTube, right? And essentially that's telling YouTube, oh wait, this guy creates good content. This person has stayed on his channel for a long time. And if a lot of people are doing that, that's indicating to YouTube that your videos and your channel deserves to get pushed to new people. So this is an extremely good strategy, and it's something that you have to implement.
And the most interesting part, with zero ad spend. In fact, YouTube even paid me $267,000 in AdSense. So YouTube paid me $250,000 to get 9.5 million views on my sales video and put $20 million in my pocket. Most people would have had to spend tens of millions of dollars to get that many views on their VSL. Yet Google paid me to do that. I mean, do you see why this Flywheel content system is so powerful? So here is how it works. Record once. I record this Flywheel VSL one time. Then my team tweaks the thumbnail and title every quarter. I post 2 to 3 videos a month, and all of those videos link back to the Flywheel VSL. That is literally all I have to do for this business to keep producing millions of dollars every single year.
So the thing with changing the thumbnail and changing the title, it definitely works because it's essentially like a trigger to YouTube that your video is still active. So what we did with that VSL that I just mentioned for Stedman, we created that video in 2025, and the title was how to start a funding company in 2025. So as soon as 2026 came around, we changed the title, we changed the thumbnail, and in turn, we saw the views started to spike again. And that's because it's signaling to YouTube that, this video is still active, right? It's not dead in the water. So, every year, if you create one asset that's still printing, you can literally just change the title to match the year, switch up the thumbnail. Iman does it every quarter. We don't do that. You can if you really want to, test more. But the main thing is making sure, at least once a year, you are changing it up if that's going to be your main piece of asset that you want to keep evergreen for years to come.
Now, unlike ads, which burn out over time, my VSL video actually gets better the longer it exists. It's kind of like fine wine. It ages pretty well. Whereas paid ads are like milk. They spoil quite fast. Every time I post, my reach compounds. And every time I record a new video, I'm making the system even more powerful because I'm building something with every video. Opposite to ads, where you're not building anything when you record new ads or new funnels, you're kind of just replacing what was working. You're not really building an asset. And by the way, I want to make something very clear because I'm sure you guys have seen some ads. I'm not against ads. I'm against cold traffic and making that the center of your business. You can test and you can play around with it. And if that works for you, great. But genuinely for 95% of info businesses in today's climate in 2025, it's just not worth it. And you're not building a real asset. And that's why it's so hard and time consuming to grow with that model. And in comparison, so straightforward and stress-free to grow with this kind of model.
So, obviously he's comparing ads and YouTube content here. And as I say, both work, right? Our most successful clients, they do paid ads on Meta and they do, a YouTube funnel, right? And they find that, this is the most successful way because there will be be times when YouTube will be a bit slow, and there will be times where ads are a bit slow. So if you want to really succeed in 2026, the most overpowered strategy that you should implement is simply just doing both. Like, it's not that complicated. Ads give you predictability once you found a proven ad that works and a proven system. YouTube gives you that evergreen and that knowledge of knowing that there are going to be leads coming in 24/7 and you don't even have to do anything. You might not even have to put out new videos sometimes. So the YouTube videos are also going to improve the ad performance. So, when someone books in a call from an ad, you embed YouTube videos on your thank you page. You send them emails with the YouTube videos. When someone books an ad, they're probably going to search up your name and they're going to see what you have out on the internet. So if they see nothing, you're losing that trust, right? But if they search you up on YouTube and now there's all these videos that are speaking exactly to their pain points, solving problems, by the time they get to that call, they're going to be so warm and they're going to actually know, like, and trust you. And that's how you get good results from paid ads in 2026. You can't just do full cold traffic. You need to obviously run them to cold traffic, but then you need to have a really good system for warming them up by the time they get to the call. And the only way to really do that is obviously through dialed email automations, having a really good system in that end, but you have to have some long form content. Long form content is the best for building trust, and this is how you really get the most out of a paid ad system. So I definitely recommend both if you have obviously budget to spend, but if you're starting out, with your coaching program, info program, YouTube's probably your best bet, right?
And here's the crazy part. You can get this entire system running for less than $10,000 a month. So let me break down what your lean, high impact team looks like. Thumbnail designer, who's going to cost you about $1,500 a month full time. They test 5 variations per video to maximize CTR. You need to understand the right thumbnail can 10x your video's performance. Next, full-time editor, $2,000 a month. Now a full-time editor, once again, $2,000 a month. They're going to repurpose one long form video into 30 short clips for TikToks, IG Reels, and YouTube Shorts. You need to understand your best performing content is just a remix of what already exists. Copywriter, you can find a good enough one for $3,000 a month. They take your raw ideas, podcasts, or interviews, or even your coaching calls, and they turn them into high converting scripts. Good copy is not optional. It's really the foundation of your authority. I'm not telling you guys you need to spend $10,000. I'm just saying that's pretty much the most amount of money you can spend to have like the top of the top 18. Then you have a strategist. $3,500 a month. They are going to analyze dead content, revive it with new angles, hooks, and CTAs. I mean, one simple tweak can turn a flop into a $50,000 a month sales asset. The total cost for this is $10,000 a month. And guess what? That's less than one decent sales rep, except with this team, they work 24/7 without commissions.
Okay, so what Iman does is he's obviously hired out for these roles, right? Now, number one, this can work. We have big guys like Alex Hormozi, once again, has his own in-house team. Ali Abdel, Iman, for example, these guys do have their own in-house team, right? But, what he doesn't talk about is how hard it is to actually find good talent and then train them up and actually find YouTube strategists that's going to take $500 a month if they're actually good. Like, it's not as easy as he makes it sound. Trust me, I've looked into hiring for these roles for my agency. It's not that easy, right? But obviously there's another way, right? There are YouTube agencies like my own where we specifically build out these funnels for our clients and manage all of them on a retainer basis. Once again, you're not paying $10,000 plus per month. We charge anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 a month. But what you're getting is the full system, the thumbnail designers, the editors, the strategists, all pre-trained so that you as a business owner don't have to go out of your way, spend 2-3 months hunting these people down, then training them, and then trying to implement the system, and then hope you get results, right? $10,000 a month for a YouTube system probably doesn't make that much sense if you're someone who's looking to really build this out first try. Obviously, if you're someone who's already bringing in millions of dollars a year like he was, this might make sense. But for the most part, if you're a business owner, it probably doesn't, right? So that's where you kind of want to look into YouTube agencies, seeing, if someone can help you on that end. So those are the main pieces of advice that Iman has actually given from this YouTube video. It's have a micro authority channel. It is create a Flywheel VSL, and then obviously, hire a team so that you can actually have all of this sorted and you're not doing it yourself as the business owner, right? So if you want to learn about how we actually help our clients build out these YouTube content systems and these funnels that generate multi-six figures, you can click the video here, go watch that video. And if you want to work with our team, there'll be a link in the description where you can apply to work with us. So if you found some value from this, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.